Hi, welcome to the Jeff and Jerry Show. My name is Jeff. I'm the Borough Manager of Mount Pleasant, and my co-host,
Jerry Lucia, Mayor of Mount Pleasant.
So, Jerry, this is our last show for the year of 2020. It has been a different kind of a year, as everybody knows. December was really a busy year for snow, a busy month. And fortunately, we're standing here and it's not snow.
No, and it's 50 degrees.
It's 50, but the wind's blowing. It's a little bit cold, but
Well, it was nice, Rick, to bring the truck up so we could stand behind it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's the reason why we're standing here. But the one thing we wanted to talk about is a little bit about our Christmas decorations and the center of town, really what this is all about, and then talk a little bit about looking forward to next year.
Well, I'll tell you what, 2020, the best thing that could happen is it's going to be over in 2 days. And because it was a bad year. I mean, bad meaning nothing was scheduled normally that could happen, happened. And I think it made a lot of people be in a different feeling of the year, of their self, of their families. It was just a difficult year. And
do you think people appreciated maybe staying at home with the family a little bit more than they usually did?
Oh, I've heard a lot of that, Jeff. People actually got used to now being home that were runners. One is myself. We were always active doing something, and that changed, so I stayed home more with the family.
Was there a benefit, or some people have a hard time with that? They were in depression, or they just didn't know what to do. I mean, do you think the benefits outweighed some of the people who had a rough time with that?
Yeah, I think the benefits outweighed it. Yeah, because, you're right. The people that were normally active, real super active, they wanted to be out and about, but there was nowhere to go and nothing to do. Your restaurants, look at the restaurants that were closed. And now we have all the bars and taverns and clubs, they're closed down. So, the guys that would go to the club and stay for a couple hours and BS with the other guys, that wasn't happening. So they're home. And maybe it's a little more closeness with their family, too.
You talked a little bit about the big change, and there's a lot of things canceled. We'll talk about the first ones were probably the Easter events. I don't think you had the Easter egg hunt, did you?
No, we didn't have the Easter egg hunt, and that started it. That was in probably April this year. And then you went into the summer months, and you have your church festivals. Everyone looked forward to the church festivals and the food that you would eat. That was canceled off. And then you had the Fireman's Fair. That was canceled off. And
July 3rd
was canceled off. And then we went to September, and the Glass Festival was canceled off. First time in 35 years. And then after the Glass Festival, you had your Halloween. We did have a Halloween parade.
And we did have Halloween.
We did have Halloween. Yes, we did.
So why have the Halloween parade and all the other parades canceled?
Well, the Halloween parade, we felt that 90% of the kids that were in the parade had a mask on. So that was part of the goal right there with them having a mask on. And the people standing along the streets, if you were too close to me standing, I could move. I'm a physical body, and I could move. So we felt that was part of it.
Well, and I also think it was kind of like a test to see. I mean, there was a lot of people there, though. The one thing it did prove that people really came out for something that we did.
Yes.
But there was a lot of people that didn't social distance, and so
yeah, and it's common to have the Halloween parade. So people that normally would, for the last 30 years or so, they come out for that parade. The social distancing could have been better. And we were counting on it being understanding between people to do it on their own. And we didn't have enough personnel to go up and down the street and tell people to distance.
Yeah, so that's why then we canceled the Christmas parade, and the candlelight procession was canceled. But you know, even though all that was canceled, and you look back and when it was happening, everybody was upset. But now that it's over, it was almost like a fresh start.
Yeah, we're hoping January gives us a new fresh start, a new beginning, and go for 2021 and bring back what we've lost in the past year.
And maybe people can appreciate a little bit more of some of the things we do in town, since all those were canceled.
Yes.
And now we're going to have them probably, I think, we'll have them in 2021, and maybe they'll appreciate them and spend more time coming to these events we have in town.
Well, I think they will, because our events that we do have in town, the Fireman's Fair, the Glass Festival, people come out and enjoy themselves. You never hear complaints. You hear nothing but good things happening at those weekends.
Well, one thing we didn't cancel was the decoration.
No.
We decorated the town.
Yes, we did.
So let's first, why don't we go down and go through some of the decorations.
Okay.
We'll start off with the gazebo area, and then we'll work our way toward Main Street.
Okay.
So the gazebo area, we did a little bit different things this year, so let's go visit that. Jerry, we're in front of the gazebo now, and we always decorate this area for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
This year we had a couple women on the council, and they changed a little bit of what we had done in the past.
It looks nice. It lights up nice in the tree in the night, and it really is. The girls did a good job.
Well, next year I know they're going to add to it. But exciting news is, breaking news for our show,
Yeah.
we're going to refurbish the area, the gazebo.
Well, we've talked about this. Council's talked about it, and we realized that it was time for an upgrade, and that'll really be great for next year.
Yeah, well, we are going to do it. I know there's a committee now working on it, and they're going to have some plans, what they're going to do, and then we'll bid it out this spring. So you'll see some people working down here and doing some of the new things we're going to do for this area. And we're going to hopefully make the gazebo look brand new and add some things to it and do some things out here in the grass area.
One thing I noticed, I was up in Ligonier, and their gazebo area is lit up the whole way around. And so we do need some lighting added to it.
Lighting, and I think we're going to do some seating.
Yeah, more seating. Yeah.
Okay, so look forward to that. Next, we're going to look at some of the promotions displays.
Yes, that's something that's been a history of Mount Pleasant for many years.
You can meet us over there. So we're standing at the cabin area right around the bend from the gazebo. And this area, when we ended up getting the Promocius displays from Mr. Promocius, we had them in town, and it just didn't look right. We were putting them all over the area. We didn't have a central location for them. So the Historical Society asked us about them, and so we gave it to them. And actually, this is a nice area for them to display them.
Oh, a great area. And in the night, I notice a lot of people come up, pull over along the curb line, and just sit and watch the display.
I notice you're out here once in a while with a can. Was that you? I thought that was you, Jerry.
I learned a long time ago, mayors don't hold cans.
No, but they do a nice job. Maintaining them, putting them up. So it's a nice area.
And they got a good relationship with the Historic Society to work with them, and have a place to set them. And year after year, you know where to come to watch the display.
Now, how long was the Promotions display in Mount Pleasant?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll bet 1952, 53.
He had them at the house.
He had them at the house, and it was on Frick Avenue. You'd go up Frick Avenue where it meets College Avenue, and it was all in the backyard. and he used to have the over-the-head cable with sleighs
Sleigh.
that would run on the cable. It was really a sight to see. Everybody went there at Christmas time.
Well, you think about 1950s.
Yes.
I mean, he was way ahead of his time.
Oh, he was a young boy doing it. He was a teenager, and that was where his mentality was at that age.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to the area of the wall now, the Veterans Wall, and we're gonna see some of our displays over there. Well, the area where we're at now is where the fountain is at,
Yes.
and
There's no water.
I know it'd be almost frozen, I would think. But well, we had the fountain here for years, and then we decided that after we closed it, we would just have a blank boards over here. So we ended up putting up some displays, and I think it was the first one was a fountain.
Yeah.
It actually was a lighted fountain that we had here,
Right.
and then that went by the wayside. So we built a Christmas tree here with lights. What do you think?
Well, I think it's in a night lit up. It's beautiful, and that was one of your ideas, Jeff. And I remember you coming up with it, and that was a good idea. And it takes 5 employees and 16 hours to put it up.
well, nothing is nice. It's, you can do quickly, but you're right. It does take a little bit of time to put up.
I mean, there's
Because of the string of lights.
yeah, a string at a time, but it come out real nice, real nice.
And I think we're going to keep adding to it. The idea is to keep adding more and more lights to it every year, which we do. But this area has become a focal point, and even when we go down and look at the nativity scene.
When you look at the traffic that comes on Diamond Street, continuously, all day long and all night long. I mean, we're proud of this area, and we can showcase to the public what we do in Mount Pleasant.
Well, I know we have lights on Main Street, the wreaths, and they're nice. And when you look up Main Street in the wintertime and all the wreaths are lit up, that's really nice too. But you can't beat the idea of having a center of town like we have here, with able to put up all these different displays.
Definitely. And you know what? When you go from Christmas, you're going to be putting another display of some type. You have Valentine's Day coming up and other holidays, and we always change.
Well, the fountain, we can change the lights.
Yeah, we do.
Which is something new. We'll probably do a red for Valentine's Day, and I think Easter time we do a yellow and purple lights.
Yeah, and that looks good too when you're changing the light scene.
Yeah. Being the mayor, and I know you're always still running around, even though you said you're not doing a lot of running around, you still do. When you run into people from other towns, what's their impression of Mount Pleasant?
Well, I'll tell you what, just the other day I was down in Penn Hills, and I had my jacket on, said Mount Pleasant Mayor, and he says, he started naming all the people we knew in Mount Pleasant, and it makes me feel good, and he even talked about the town, the business district that we have, and that, and he was really into it. It made me feel real good.
Having a year like 2020, it kind of was a down year, but
it was bad.
but all the new things that we know are happening in Mount Pleasant next year will really be exciting, don't you think?
Well, you have been planning a lot of different changes to different things like the Glass Festival and so forth. And we as the fire department, we've been planning on bringing back the fair bigger and better, and so we are all using our heads and our knowledge to put something together for next year, so you forget 2020 completely.
Yeah. Well, the one thing we don't want to forget, and that's the nativity scene. So we're going to go there next. And this has been a tradition in Mount Pleasant for a long time.
Well, it started way back in the early 50s.
So we'll meet you at the nativity scene. Okay, so before we talk about the nativity scene, What is the name of this area right here?
It's always been called the Diamond or the Doughboy.
But what is the official name?
Uh,
Now, come on, Jerry.
Diamond's the official name? I've heard so many names.
It is officially Memorial Square,
Memorial Square. Yeah.
right?
Something you don't normally commonly hear.
No, but that's what it is. It's officially Memorial Square, but it's easy recognizable as the Doughboy Square or the Diamond.
I've actually used the word diamond more than any.
Yeah.
Diamond Square.
Now, one more question.
Uh-huh.
Now, we're standing in front of a religious symbol,
Uh-huh.
the nativity scene, but it's actually located and set up in a certain area. And we did this, I don't know, probably about 14 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That really secured the fact that this can sit here. Because, you know, there's such a thing as separation of church and state. So, do you want to tell the people why this can sit here?
Well, it's called social area. I mean, it's a social square that only can be used for different things.
It's the freedom of speech area.
In the speech area.
Right. And so what we did was we created an ordinance that allowed the freedom of speech to be here,
Yes.
which is what the symbol of this religious symbol is. It's a freedom of speech.
Yes.
So that's why we're able to separate the church and state theory by having this sit here on our freedom of speech area.
Well, it makes it better to actually separate too. You know, if there's a problem, someone wants to come and demonstrate.
This is the area.
The freedom of speech area. The nativity scene has been here since 1950, I believe.
Right.
And that was probably the only thing that ever was here until later on in life, and in the years. I mean,
Well, this whole area is, isn't it the farmers market? It's also zoned for farmers market, right?
it is. But if you notice that the traffic is so heavy in this area, that's why they didn't use this area for the farmers market. They actually used the parking lot behind.
Well, I think it was.
Only for safety reasons.
Well, I think it was back then when they did that. There might have been one car per household versus now there's 5
When
cars.
that was done, the farmers brought their product into town to sell,
Yeah.
and they used the whole.
And very few traffic.
Yes, right.
Very low traffic. Okay, well, here we are. So can you talk a little bit about the nativity scene?
Well, I'll tell you what, we owe a lot of thanks and gratitude to Rich Kieva. Rich has made sure that this has always been carried out. You know.
Yeah. That's Rich calling you now on the phone. Thanking you for the plug.
Well, Rich and his family actually have put this together year after year after year, and he probably knows where every nut and bolt goes right in place. But,
Well, a little bit also is Cindy Underwood is the chairman of that
she's
committee.
the chairman of that committee, and this goes back to St. Bernardine's Church that started it with your uncles and dad and all your
Right.
family. And they started this back in the 50s.
Well, the one thing that people don't remember, I don't think, is the Glass Festival gave the stage. This was our stage. We gave it to the Nativity Scene Committee because it was a lot easier to put it up on a stage than it was building this thing from the ground up every year.
Sure. And they take care of it. They do a good job of it. And we're lucky to have a town that has a nativity scene this large with full statues. I go to a lot of towns and I see nativity scenes, but they're usually small, you know. This is gigantic.
And it has been here for so many years that you hate to say is it going to be here forever, because you hope it does.
Yeah. Well, knowing Rich Kieva, as long as he's living, it'll be here.
Well, I'm sure, and I'm sure there'll be somebody else eventually, that wants to keep it going.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, this is a
I
tradition.
mean, I think the town would want to keep it.
Mount Pleasant tradition, and it will continue.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're done with some of the Christmas stuff here now. So I think I want to get into some of the. Did you get a phone for Christmas?
Yeah.
By the way, is that a new phone?
It's not a new phone. It's just one that never stops ringing.
I think we want to talk about some of the new things that people can expect Mount Pleasant to have in 2021.
In 2021?
We're going to talk about some of the new things. So
Okay, sure.
we're going to take a break, get over by the middle of the park area, and we're going to talk about the new things for 2021.
Sounds good.
Okay, well, we had a little tour of the Christmas displays we have. Well, just in the middle of town. There's other displays around. There's Penn Park has a nice display down at the other east end of town. And talking about the east end of town, in 2021 we're going to have a project, and I don't know the official name, but right now the project's called the Waterway. Shoop's Run. We're going to take that area, and right now it's a creek. It's it's really nothing fancy or nothing that's any beautification project down there. So what we're going to try to do is clean it all up. One side's going to be a place where you can sit and walk, and on the other side is going to be all these different flowers and light poles. And it's going to be, I think, a butterfly, some butterfly plants where they gather butterflies. So we're going to try to clean that area up down there and really make it a place for people to enjoy.
Well, that's good to hear, because if you recall a couple years ago, the weeds were growing up on the banks and that, and we had the street department go in and clean it up, and then I got heck for ordering it to be cleaned up, because the waterways people didn't like that, because I didn't get permission from them.
Well, I think
they're going to make a big improvement. My hat's off to them.
Well, I think the concern, there's so many rules and regulations. I think the concern was that they look at those plants as holding up the sides of the bank. But no, they're also partnering with us to do that project. So, and they're going to
we always like partners.
So they're going to replant it, but it won't be the kind of plants that are there now.
Well, as you described it, it'll be pretty, and it'll be nice and clean, and
at nighttime, we're going to light it all up at night. We're going to put lights in the flowers so the flowers are lit up at night. It'll look good, I think.
Okay, well, that'll be great.
And then the other area down there, we're going to probably do something with the area next to it. And we may...
The railroad track.
No, on the other side.
Okay.
And I think we're going to try to do something down there where we can have some small event. I'm talking about maybe not the farmers market, but they can if they want. But it may be a little market area, a little picnic area. We're going to work on some of that too, to try to do that whole area at one time.
Well, that's good. That's thinking ahead.
Yeah.
They call it thinking ahead.
So that's that project. The other project we're looking at doing is all the parks.
Yeah, each year the parks have been getting better and better and better.
Well, you're going to see a big change. We allotted a lot of money this year to the parks. And we moved some playground equipment around to some of the other parks. We're going to get new playground equipment. And so we're going to try to make a big impact on all the parks this year.
I think that'll be a fantastic idea, because parks are for kids and grown-ups alike. And our parks, I've got a lot of compliments on our parks over the years. And I'm glad that we continue to progressively make them better.
Well, we've let some of them go, only because we wanted to do a plan.
Yeah.
And I think some people want it to be done right away. It's better to plan it out. It may take a year, but you plan it out and you do it right after that.
Yeah, oh yeah, and progression going forward is always better.
You have any thoughts about other projects that the firemen might be doing?
No, we actually we're the biggest project we're looking at right now is we're waiting to have the new apron put in front of the fire station. Actually, both stations need addressed. The upper station is all concrete and it's broken up, and so we do have
the grant for that.
Grant for that. Down street is really a blacktop situation where you just have to do a skim coat of blacktop to clean it up.
You had mentioned a little bit about the Fireman's Fair and about the Glass Festival. Those projects will all be, like all the time, we keep trying to make them better.
Yes.
Anything else you'd like to see in town new for 2021?
Well, new, not that I can come off the top of my head. I like to see what we did do all the time in the past come back. We stopped at October with the October parade, with the Halloween parade. But, we always had the Christmas parade, and we had the merchants would do some things with the Christmas season, and that all went to the back burner this year. And I'd like to see that come back. We have a lot of things that we can work on and make better. Like you said, the Glass Festival, we're already talking about ideas to make that better. And it'll be a good, productive year in 2021. I can't wait till it turns over that clock.
One last question. We hired another full-time police officer. We had an officer pass away.
Yes, we did.
Giro. And so, do you see anything new with the police department?
Well, the police department, I don't believe we're going to replace the canine. We haven't really discussed it thoroughly yet. But the officer that we added is a good young officer, and it makes our force a lot better. And with that, I would tell the public, please be careful. Things could change with more burglaries. The economy is changing, so we got to watch ourselves. So lock your doors, make sure your houses are secured. We don't want to see a rash of burglaries start in small town Mount Pleasant.
Call 911 and call right away when you see it.
That's right.
You can't wait till the next day
No.
and say, I saw something yesterday.
No.
By then it's too late.
That's right.
And call 911.
Yeah, we had several burglaries in the past week, right before Christmas. So that's why I'm putting the warning out to everybody
And I'm sure there'll be phone scams.
Oh yes, oh yeah, that's always going to happen.
Okay, well, Jerry, overall, we can forget about 2020. I mean, even though it was a bad year, we made it through. And
I do want to thank, since 2020 is ending, I do want to thank our producer, Rick Fike, for all the work that he puts into putting up with us.
I know.
And I really want to extend that to Armstrong and to Rick Fike.
I think 2021 will be a new year for him too. I got a gut feeling.
Oh yeah, yeah. It could be big things.
It could be big things for Rick.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. 2020, it's over now. So 2021, there's a lot of hope, a lot of looking forward to it, and hopefully there'll be some old things from the past come back and some new things we're going to do in town. So for Jerry and Jeff, thanks for watching all year to the Jeff and Jerry Show, and we'll see you next time.